Right, I need to ask this question before I forget. Greg, did
Yes.
I hear you correctly when you said that you mentioned about the different past girlfriends or whatever, friends, platonic friends? You mentioned about the gifts, and I'm sure I heard you say that if they don't return the gift, that you cut them off. Did I hear that? That's not the sort of person you want to associate with anymore? Did you say that?
Oh, so what I was saying, yes, like I said earlier, I said, I have heard you many times say something like, we need to love the love of God. And I'm saying that
Hmm.
we are not God.
Hmm.
Sometimes we tend to arrogate excessive power to
No,
ourselves. When you say
no, look,
God
no,
is
no,
love,
no,
no,
look.
here's what I'm saying.
No,
Here's
no,
what I'm
you're
saying.
digressing. You're digressing. I
Wait,
need to
wait, I
understand
want
that
to I
point
want to
first.
answer your question. I want to answer your question. It's not a yes or no answer. What I'm saying is that when I express love, what I'm saying is you
Uh-huh.
can hardly express love without gifts. And if you have somebody
Really?
you are dating, somebody you are in love with, and then you are giving the person gifts, they did not find any opportunity to buy you a handkerchief, a boxers,
Hmm.
until the
Hmm.
period you were in a relationship. You need to either
Hmm.
teach the person or the person is not the person that is meant for you.
Okay,
All right?
okay, okay.
Because
Let me
I'm
ask you this.
saying
Let
that
me ask you this question. Let me
yeah,
ask you this question now. You've digressed way off the mark. If
okay.
there was no designated day, what would you do? All the things that you've mentioned there now, are you telling me then that because without that day, you can't express all those things that you've just mentioned?
No, I
If there was
said
no
that
day, if there was no day
no.
on ground, what would you do?
Well, I will still celebrate. What I'm just saying, just like you asking me
What
without 25th of
what would you
February,
celebrate?
25th of
No,
December,
I'm asking,
the reason why I'm
what
saying
would
this
you
is about,
celebrate?
I have to answer it my way. I have to answer it my way, not your way, right? What I'm saying is
No,
this.
it's not
What
my
I'm
way.
saying is this.
It's very
Because
simple.
here we have talked about love, and then we talked about love from the
Uh-huh.
Christianity perspective. There are other people who are not Christians, who are
Right.
non-Christians, and they
Yes, I
celebrate
agree.
love.
Yes, yes,
There are people who are
yes.
non-Christians. And then when you say you
Uh-huh.
have to love like God, we are not, nobody here can die because of any human being. One person, let alone the
We
whole
were ma-
world.
we
Jesus
were
Christ
made
is
we were
different.
made
When
we
we
were made in an
realize that we
image.
have our
We were
weaknesses,
made in
when
an
we realize that
image.
we are different, when we realize that we are not God, you will see that when you have
We-
that little opportunity, even if it is
uh-huh.
pencil that you are buying, like, okay, that is a company I work with, it is called Salad Master, yes? Can you hear me?
I know
Salad
Salad
Master.
Master. Yeah, I can hear you.
One
I
of
can
the
hear you. I know
best
Salad Master.
gifts, one
Yes.
of the best gifts
Uh-huh.
I've gotten in my life,
Yes.
one of the best gifts I've
Okay.
gotten is a pen, Mont Blanc pen. That gift till
Mm-hmm.
today, any check that is huge, anytime I buy a house, I will
Use
go
that
and
pen.
find that pen to come. It represents something to me because it is where I
Okay.
made money, where I started life with. So that pen
Okay.
is like is something significant. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
giving gifts and then giving it on the 14th of
Uh-huh.
February, it can be any other day. Giving it on the 14th of February is just a way to say, hey, today is a mark as the day to celebrate love the whole world.
So it
I
could
am
be on
not
any other
saying whether it
day.
is
It could
true
be
or
on.
not. I want to join
Okay.
the whole world to celebrate you. And please, let no man be under pressure and let no man take. For me now, for instance, I will tell you this my wife buys me gifts almost all the time. Sometimes I even forget. She buys me gifts. I don't want to miss that opportunity. I don't want to say, oh, I want to, I don't want to celebrate it. It's really good that even recently, she was like, hey, what should I buy for you? I'm like, you always know what you want to get. And me, I also make effort. Sometimes I buy something very insignificant. Other times I buy quality
Mm,
things. It is not all about the product.
mm,
It is not about the
mm.
item. It is all about the heart that comes
Right.
alongside it. There
Okay.
is something that
Okay.
it
Okay. That's
creates.
fine. Okay, that's fine, Greg. You've said your piece. So all I'm going to say really to cap this is that we're all individuals. I don't believe there's any right or wrong. We all got our own opinions. And I would say really our relationship, it depends on the kind of relationship that we have. I mentioned earlier on about love language. Okay. For example, I don't do things for my wife or my loved one based on what I want. It's based on what they want. That's love language. You love somebody according to the way that they need that feel for love because you can be given something and you think it's showing love and it's actually not. All you're doing is satisfying your own conscience or your own responsibility in inverted commas, right? And to answer the thing about you said that we're talking about Christianity, I'm talking about look, we were all created and we were made in a kind of in a certain image, yes, and I started this off. We started the concept off by saying that the concept of love, what we see today in society, is very, very different from the overall and real concept of love, which is hearts. It's your heartfelt. It's an emotion. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not based on, I don't personally believe it's based on gifts. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we can't give gifts, that we shouldn't. But what I'm trying to get across is that love should not be determined by a gift. Because, for example, if Valentine's wasn't about, what would we do? I can't hear you, Tony. Your mic's off.
Sorry.
Okay.
I said just
That's better.
side with a little bit of Greg. Yeah. What I'd say is a sign of love in terms of when we talk about our tradition as Africans. Yeah, when you ask for the hand of a woman in marriage, yeah, I think traditionally we go and give gifts to I think it was cows or whatever the family wants, isn't it? So, and that's a sign that's a sign, for you of love. So I think, yeah, there is mileage, a lot of mileage in what Greg is saying, and also it also depends on your background. I mean, we in the UK are slightly different. We don't give cows or goats when we get married. Yeah, we kind of just get married. Yeah. And I think that's where we differ a little bit. And also, I think Greg also probably has a point in terms of the fact that the longevity of marriages in the West, yeah, is a bit embarrassing because, like he said, I don't know where he got the stats from, but 50%, I know 50% is about right, of marriages actually end up in divorce. And then the interesting one is 2/3 of second marriages end up in divorce. So that second one is very interesting because those people that are divorced, why you get married again? When the chances are even worse. Yeah. So those are the odds. But I think it's a very interesting debate. I didn't even think we'd get this far. I didn't think we would actually get into all this. But Bearden's on the call, and it would be nice to hear it from a Muslim's perspective to find out. I know that he's a very he's a lover, not a fighter, and he's unlike some people. So I'd like to hear Bearden. Tell us, Valentine's Day, and is it the fact that it's got Saint Valentine's Day is the reason why Muslims may not even celebrate it because it's got Saint Valentine's Day? Well, Bearden, are you there, or can we? Are you? Are you there, Bearden? Because we haven't. You're the only one we haven't heard from today. Okay, looks like he's a bit silent.
Good evening.
Good evening. So do you
Good
celebrate
evening.
Valentine's Day, Bearden?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Bearden, do you celebrate?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Do you,
Good evening, Mr. Tony. You are trying to put me in a very tight corner by saying because it's called St. Valentine's Day, that is why Muslims don't celebrate. Actually, well, because if you go by history about what Valentine's Day is about, sacrifice of two lovers and all that they had to die for love to prove themselves and all that. Well, if you are and say because Saint Valentine is because from inception from the story is like is a sad end of two lovers who are to devote the end of dying and it's all about the sacrifice of life to prove to the world that okay they love themselves and the truth is that if you look at love itself, I hope can you hear me?
yeah, we haven't heard.
Loud and clear.
But we haven't heard whether you celebrate it. Do you celebrate it or not? Does your wife get Valentine's or what?
Well, I actually Valentine. Every day is Valentine. If you love your wife, that's the truth. And because I've been listening, sorry, I had a very serious situation today. Thank God, God came to our rescue. I almost lost my son today.
Oh no, sorry.
Unfortunately, he was not feeling fine,
Sorry.
honestly.
Sorry.
Oh dear.
Thank God. In fact,
Sorry.
I had to run. Miraculously, he's fine. Thank God.
Oh, wow.
So, but
Sorry.
I've been at least stable. Yeah. So
Sorry.
sorry about that. for your translation. Yes,
Sorry.
sir. Thank
Sorry to hear that.
you very much. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
and I'm listening. I actually started when Mr.
Yeah,
Shola
sorry,
was
good.
saying
Sorry.
before. Yeah, thank you very much. That Greg is saying something. Yeah, he has a point. But looking at it from my own angle, understanding of love itself, love is sacrifice. That's it. So we have individual interpretation and belief, how we see love. But the truth is that it is sacrifice. If you look at it from this side and the other side, you still see it's all about sacrifice. You have a partner who doesn't give you gifts. You have to be ready to make that sacrifice for being with that person because you love that person. Oh, this person is not nice. You understand? It's not a cheerful giver. It's a sacrifice you have to make because you said love. You have to take that person for who the person is. And if you're lucky, gives gifts, yes, that is still also good. But the truth is that that does not really, really define love. Love is, yes, if you are the type that give gift, you want to prove that okay, you are because it's a sacrifice. You see something nice you want to get for your partner. Yes, it's still part of the sacrifice, a service you are rendering to that person. If you actually love that person, to me, you don't have to expect the person to reciprocate. But most cases, from probably I'll say from the psychological or
You've
emotional
gone.
thing, we expect. Well, yeah, we expect when we give someone, you expect that person to reciprocate. Oh yeah, but the truth is that if you look at love deeply itself, people, what about imbeciles that can't do anything, but they still find love? So that means it's one-sided sacrifice because the other person is not able, is not capable of reciprocating or being very active. But you still have to love that person. And that is why it's called sacrifice. So if we start going by, okay, I have to give you gifts to prove love, yes, it's okay. But it doesn't mean the other person that doesn't give you gifts doesn't love you. Probably you are the snoring type when you sleep. It's also a sacrifice because probably your partner sleeping, you don't allow them to sleep. But because the person loves you, doesn't mean the person have to chase you out. But a lot of time, that's why they say we get carried away and I don't know if it was Greg or Mr. Shola that said you look at beauty, you look at the curve and all that. Yes, you're attracted. But by the moment you start living with that person, that is when you actually know if you really love that person. And that's when reality gets dawned on you. It's not just the what was the right word? Let me just say the attraction, the physical attraction. It has to go deep. Like, okay, this person can I actually live with the person? So that's why most cases you end up seeing broken homes. By the time you're like, oh, it's just a physical attraction. This person is not beautiful in, is only beautiful out. So all this thing it still boils down to the word sacrifice, love, which simply means sacrifice. If you love the person, your partner now, whatever the way the person is, there are situations whereby, because we are human, sometimes we tend to take things for granted. That is where another issue comes in. But you have to accept you are married to someone that is nagging. When you start dating that person, you've probably been seeing that sign. You see, are you ready to love that person? Because God created a male and female, and we're meant to love each other. That is nature. So it's for you to, are you able, are you really sure? Because when you talk about the real love, sometimes you see some couples and you wonder like how possible? Why are these people? But you'd be surprised that certainly love. There's something that's actually keeping that relationship. But there are some couples that I'd be like, is heaven made. But really, at the end, we have seen situations whereby they said, in fact, after marriage reception, before they got to their home, they broke up. And so, what do you call what do you call that? They've not even started living together. just argument on the road from the reception of the wedding, they broke up. But you see people that you tend to see this person to be the worst human being, but this person has a partner that they've been living for years. So yes, it's good. It's just, to me, Valentine is, let me say, probably you're just marking something. It's just, I'm trying to get the perfect word to use, but it's just like you're just trying to bring that awareness, bring it to life. Like, okay, just an expression of appreciation, but it does not really define the love. That, oh, because I'm buying you this because we're celebrating Valentine. What if you buy her the jet, private jet, like Greg mentioned, and the following morning you have an argument? Probably a wrong person calls you, and bang, there's a problem. So love, Valentine's Day does not really define love, and to me, it's just a mere celebration, a formality. Like, okay, let me just use this to just celebrate you and say it's just like when we celebrate birthday. It doesn't. We're just marking it, but it doesn't mean there are people that are still on their birthday they die. So what are you going to say about that? So, my own understanding of love, Valentine is just a mere formality for celebrating love. Fine, it's good. You want to use that to do a refreshment, but that is not really the backbone of love.
Thank
So
you,
I think
Ben.
yes.
But there's one question I need to ask you. So,
Yes, sir.
Is your wife going to experience a Valentine's Day?
If she has experienced it.
With you, Valentine's Day.
Yes. I think she had when we're dating, but no. Yes, I have to be honest.
You can't remember.
He's being real.
No,
He's being real.
Sir. You see, the truth is that I think I have a way. My wife and I, we have a communication and understanding.
Okay.
You know, I mentioned this one of our on the program that I said, you see, if we have to go back to the scripture, from every man, they said, I'm sorry, I'm using this translation and digressing. The religion, Islamically, you are allowed to marry up to 4 wives if you are able, if you are capable, if you can take care of them. Because we have more women. In reality, we have more women in the world. So I made it clear, like, look, it's more like, look at it now. We have more. Well, other women are not married. What's going to happen to them? Are they going to live forever lonely?
Are you concerned about the other women that are not married? You're a very giving person.
Well,
you're very giving.
Mr. Tony, seriously, in as much as I'm not this very deep religious person, but I am religiously conscious. Honestly, the day I met my in-laws, one of the brothers said, okay, I think it was my wife's sister. He said, okay, you are here and all that. The first thing is we don't want rivals. And I said, I'm sorry. That's the first time they are seeing me, sir. And I boldly told them that, well, I don't know if any other person, but for me, I'm a Muslim and I must go. I live by the scripture, Islamic norms. I will not go against it. If God's willing, I have to take, if there's thing I would have a second wife, I'm not going to write it up. So let's know that now, not later in the future, you're going to say, oh, you promised this. No, I'm not promising that. And everybody, they all go, whoa, really? And I look at them and some of them start saying, well, yeah, I think he's saying the reality. That I'm being honest.
So, Braden,
and sometimes I even joke.
Braden, if you have a second wife, then how do you celebrate Valentine's with your wife?
Well, we have to have an agreement. Probably I celebrate one with, if they are not to live together, I celebrate with one in the morning, the other one in the evening.
Maybe if you keep it to 3 wives, you can, because we say Valentine's Day between the 13th
if I have to celebrate them, I'll tell them, you know what, you all meet me in so space. Let's have table for 3 or table for 4.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, the truth is, I have to let them know because I can actually, if I'm going to get a second wife, I have to let her know.
Okay.
Because, sir, honestly, it's happening here, and I'm sure Greg, Marvel will be aware. They must have read one or two stories that we have men that are married and they have other marriage outside. It is only when most of them are passed on that the other families. There's even cases of a prominent, MKO Abiola, that some families came up saying they had to conduct DNA tests for the whole children. How many of them? To confirm who is a family member or not. Because, okay, the man has another child outside. Is his full blood. What's going to happen to that child because he's not a matrimonial, legally married? It's not the child's fault. And it's happening. But why not just face the reality? Look, if it happened, it has happened. You have to know. Heaven will not fall.
Okay.
Because that's
All right.
the reality. I make that. So we have an understanding. She tell me, the only condition she tell me is that
Okay.
before you're going to get another wife, make sure you build a house for me. So
Fantastic.
if you like.
All right. So what's love got to do with it, Braden? That sounds like, yeah. So so anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
thanks a
So
lot, Braden.
honestly, thank you, sir. Thank
Okay.
you very much, sir.
Marvel, you want to say
Thank you
something
for the.
before we're going to wrap up soon? Love is in the air. Love is in the air.
Yeah,
Love
love
is
is
in
in
the
the air.
air.
Love is in the air. I think if on this call, if you believe the general assumption, if you believe in Valentine's, have a great Valentine's. But my perspective to the conversation is that I think the system and the process has been hugely hijacked. I mean, so many years ago, when I didn't have a deep understanding of what it meant, I mean, by now my red shirt and my white pant, my red pant and my white shirt is probably ironed, or my black shoes ready to step out tomorrow, you know. But growing up into what I am now, analyzing everything, taking everything step by step, I now see that it's tilting towards a certain dimension, which is no longer covering the umbrella of love. I mean, we're all married on this call, so we can talk, husband and wife. But let's not forget that there are some people who are planning to lose virginities tomorrow. There are some younger people who are planning to probably do some stuffs tomorrow, which are not probably right, and they've kept and nursed this plan for so long, just waiting for that day to disperse it. You see, so that's where I kind of disagree with. We have to celebrate it. For married couples, it's great. I mean, if you have the capacity to do whatever you want to do tomorrow, fantastic. Go ahead, no worries. But generally, I think the process has been hijacked and is tilting towards a certain direction that is negative for me. You know, and that's why I don't really celebrate it as a day. It's not a national holiday, and I think any day can be that special day for you. You know, that's what I think.
Thank you,
And those are
Marvel.
my final thoughts. Yeah.
Thank you, Marvel. And shall we go around to get final thoughts, Charlotte, or do you want to say a few words?
No, it's obviously I need to run soon, but I just want to say, finally, I just want to really say, look, what's love got to do with it? I'm planting my standard in the sand and say that love has everything to do with it. God is love. Our Maker is love. Because look, guys, when we think about it, the kind of mercy, the grace, the forgiveness, that we've all enjoyed. We've got to be responsible. I believe we've got to be upstanding, and we have to be intentional about bringing back that original blueprint of love, where there's joy, where there's peace, where there's temperance, where there's understanding, where there's all those attributes. Guys, let's just remember where we once were as guys, right? The sort of things we used to do, maybe the peer pressure or whatever. We've got to remember that and understand that we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't even be on this call without love, the real love. I'm not talking about this superficial, customized love. I'm talking about the real love. God is love. That's my final word. Amen.
Very good, very great. And Chinedu, your final words? Okay, over to Hero, your final words?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Tony. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone that made contributions. I've learned My final word is, like I said, these things, I don't know how it started, but I just find a way, if there's any way it benefits me, it's, but I'm not under any pressure. So anything that's beyond that, I don't really myself stress. If we want to really start going back to the depth and how everything started, none of us can even celebrate it. You know, like me now, like, you know, the last time we were talking, there are so many things I've discovered about Christianity that I can't even share here. If I share it here, they don't even know what to do again, because when a man gets to 50, 60, if you come attack their fundamentals, of their beliefs, you're going to have a problem with that man, because that's what they have believed all their lives. But I don't want to share. I keep it to myself, because there's no point sharing it, because the person is not going to accept it. So what I say is, whatever works for you, that's fine. Well, for me, I keep it like that, and I move on with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Tina, final words? Okay. Joseph, final words.
Yeah, God is love. That's my final word.
God's love. Okay, great. And we're over to Greg. Final words.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was a very good one today. Thank you so much. At least I have something to say. And I will say this. I think we have to be very comfortable within ourselves, first of all, as individuals, before we celebrate even love, let alone talking about Valentine's Day as well. So thank you, and back to you, Tony.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's been, surely you'd agree with me, it's been quite an interesting show. And some of these titles that we come up with, they're a bit weird, because now there's the masculine side. I don't know whether we kind of like got too much masculine here. We got more feminine, more quiet. And then also there's what's love got to do with it? And like you say, everything's about love. Everything's about love. Love. God is love. Everything's about love. I think one of the things I should say is that obviously we should give but not expect to receive. And I think sometimes on Valentine's Day, I think we're given, and some people, not everybody, some people are given to receive, especially those people that, like Marvel said, are going to have their white trousers and red shirts, and they're hoping something special or something happens, not necessarily special, something happens tomorrow, because they're going to be spending some serious money. But, as we said, what's love got to do with it? It's got everything to do with it. And I think we need to take it back. We need to rein it back in. We need to say, right, you know what? Let's reclaim Valentine's Day, and let it be what it should be. Yeah. And it should be something that we celebrate each other, and we should give but not expect to receive. And I think women also need to be rewired, because their expectation on Valentine's Day is high, and they're expecting, and men need to be rewired, because they're given sometimes to receive. They're given to receive affection, given to receive love, given to receive physical, whatever's going to go on that night, and so on. So I think that's me. I think I'm going to final race for Shola. Over to you.
No, I think you've wrapped it up quite succinctly. Thank you guys. Thank you for a fiery discussion, a very passionate discussion. And I just want to round up again by saying, look, these are the kind of topics that we need to be going into. We need to be, making some digression into, because men are hurting. Men are hurting out there, and I don't believe that. When we just keep touching on subjects and being very superficial, we've got to go in. We've got to show our passion. We've got to show the fire. We've got to show how real we are. There's got to be a stance. We've got to also show who and how our alignment fits into the bigger picture. So I hope any men that are watching this, feel free to join us in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure there'll be another heated, or is it next week, Tony? Is it 2 weeks?
2 weeks time. 2 weeks time again.
2 weeks time. Yeah, 2 weeks time.
Chinadu mentioned he stepped out, and he says his final words anyway, is to go out and preach the love that Christ shared on the cross. No amount of love you gave out is too much. Yeah. And I think, and as Shola says,
good way to finish.
Yeah, 2 weeks time. 2 weeks time. Yeah. It's going to be a very kind of funny topic. Do you remember what it was? The topic, Shola? Okay.
Oh, we got so many times. Probably not. Remind me.
It is.
Remind me.
It is. Are we still slaves? Yeah,
That's the one.
are we
That's the one.
slaves
That's the one.
dressed up in just dressed up in the choice of our type? We're kind of like, it's about slave. It's about, are we still slaves? Yeah, we're dressed up with the choice of clothing we want. Now, I think that's going to be quite interesting. So I want you
That'll be a
guys to
hot
think
one.
about it. Yeah, I want you guys to think about it. Are we still slaves? Yeah, I mean, you look at Africa in general. Yeah, have they swapped? Have they swapped as slaves? They gave us houses to live in while we worked on plantation fields or where we did slave labor. But now what they've done is taken away the houses and given us money, and we're still doing the same thing. So I'm just saying that's something that we're going to be looking at, because we're going to, obviously, we want to now start looking at, okay, what are we going to do about it? If we are still slaves, what are we doing about it? Yeah. Can we have a change of mindset? So that's what we're going to be doing next week. 2 weeks time, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So thanks
2 weeks, yeah.
for coming on the call.
Right.
Yeah. Let's break the chain.
Good.
Yeah. And have some love.
Chain
Happy
breakers.
Valentine's Day, guys. I'm saying to you,
Good night, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, guys.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Good night, guys. Have a good week. Have a good couple of weeks. We'll catch up.
Why are we saying Happy Valentine's Day when we don't know it does not exist? Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye, everyone. Okay.